Hello, everyone. I'm Brenda Douglas, your self love and happiness coach, and I help people fall in love with themselves and live a happy and fulfilling life. Before we get started, you know what to do. Go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel for more ways that you can create happiness, for self love and self care tips, positive thinking techniques, stress remedies, and ways that you can become a better version of yourself. Listen, Valentine's Day is upon us. Happy Valentine's Day, okay? By the time you see this video, Valentine's Day will be here, okay? So happy Valentine's Day, guys. Valentine's Day is a day when you celebrate the ones you love, okay? Including yourself. Every Valentine's Day, I give myself a gift, whether I am in a relationship or not. But to be honest with you, this Valentine's Day, I did something very, very special. Unfortunately, it won't arrive until after Valentine's Day. But listen, this Valentine's Day, I'm just going to let you know what I did for myself. I bought myself a wedding ring. Yes, a wedding ring and a wedding band. And I am so excited, guys. It is so flashy. It will be a reminder to myself that I am my first love, okay? It will remind me that I have an obligation to myself first, okay? God first, then me. I have an obligation to myself, okay? But I'm so busy. Like, there was a time when I was so busy doing for everybody else, loving on everybody else, giving so much to everyone else, that this year 2021 is a whole new year, and I'm stepping out by myself, and I am doing for myself. I need to reclaim my independence. I need to reclaim my self-love, okay? So yes, I am so excited. Unfortunately, it will not arrive until like I said, after Valentine's Day. I just tracked it, and it's not going to get here. I was trying to order it and get it here before then, but the shipping and the mail service has been extremely slow during this pandemic, okay? But I am so excited, guys. It is so flashy. It is so beautiful, okay? And I want to use it as a standard from now on. I've been engaged. I'm going to be honest. I've been engaged twice. It didn't work out. We were engaged too soon before we got to know each other. And so, and I just think that it's easier to get out of an engagement than it is a marriage, okay? So I don't jump the gun too fast. Let me know who you are, Joker, and then we can make a decision. So anyway, those did not work out. And so I am back on my independence journey. And like I said, I am so excited about this wedding ring that I bought for myself. And of course, I have chocolate. I'm not a flower girl. I love sunflowers, not roses. And that's something for you guys to keep in mind. Not every female, not every woman likes roses, okay? Find out what her favorite flowers are. My favorite flower is a sunflower. Find out what her favorite flower is and give her that. Don't just assume that she wants sunflowers, okay? Because not every woman likes, don't assume that she wants roses. Wow. Don't assume that she wants roses, because not every female wants roses, okay? Some women like different types of flowers. Like me, like I said, I love sunflowers. So I did not buy myself sunflowers. I did buy some chocolate. I do have chocolate, and I bought myself several gifts. And one of those gifts, like I said, is my wedding ring to myself. And I'm going to make a vow to myself. I'm going to make a vow to treasure and honor myself. I'm going to make a vow to put myself to give to myself before I give to other people, to make sure that I'm taken care of before I take care of everyone else. So I'm going to write my vows, and I should do a video about that. That would be cool. I'm going to do a video about that. My vows to myself, my wedding vow to myself. And so I am so excited. I cannot wait until it arrives, okay? Listen, doing this Valentine's Day, some of you are single, okay? Some of you are single, and some of you may be holding on to bitterness, and you are having a hard time forgiving. Okay, so in this video, we are going to talk about forgiveness and how you can work towards forgiving someone who has wronged you, specifically a significant other. Some of you are feeling upset. You're hurt because your dream of being in a relationship has died, because your relationship is no longer intact. Some of you are married and yet you are miserable, and so you won't celebrate Valentine's Day because you're having a hard time living under the same roof, and you are only there because of the kids, okay, or because of maybe finances, okay. So we're going to talk about forgiveness. Now let me just warn you that that is easier said than done, but forgiveness is a choice and it is possible, okay. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome back. We're going to get ready to do our self-love exercise and our journal prompt. So you may want to go ahead and grab your journal. And then I'm going to give you guys some self-love affirmations, okay? So starting with the self-love exercise, what I want you to do is I want you to write a forgiveness letter, okay? So I want you to think about someone who really, really hurt you, okay? And I want you to write a forgiveness letter to this person, okay? Now, at the completion of this letter, you can do one or two things. You can mail it to the person, give it to the person, or you can just burn it. The main thing is you want to get it off your chest and you want to start moving towards forgiveness, because forgiveness takes time, okay? It is possible, but it is a choice, okay? But forgiveness takes time because sometimes the pain is so great. But let me just tell you that the key to your healing is through forgiveness, okay? So we're going to write a forgiveness letter, okay? And you're going to write about a time when you were hurt in this letter, okay? You're going to write about how it affected you. You know, what emotions were you experiencing and how were you hurt? You are going to write about how it made you feel. Write about the negative feelings, guys. Be explicit as possible and face the truth. Again, the truth is the key to your healing. And then it'll help you to forgive. Okay, so you're going to write about the negative feelings. You got to go through the fire in order to, or through the pain. You have to push through the pain in order to get to healing and in order to forgive. Okay, so you're going to write about the negative feelings that you are still experiencing today. Okay, some of you, because you haven't dealt with that, you're taking that past baggage into your present. Okay, you're shutting people off from loving you because you haven't forgiven the person who hurt you. This is a whole new person with whole new ideas, whole new experiences, and they try to love you and you push them back because you're still dealing with the pain of your past. Okay, so if you want a better future, which I know you do, you're going to have to work through that pain. There's no way around it. You can't go under it. You can't go over it because it always peeks out its head. It always shows itself, okay? The person does something and it reminds you of your past. It's a trigger. And then that person pays for what someone else has done to you, okay? So you have to forgive. Forgiveness is possible. Don't try to make sense of it. Like, there's some stuff that are so corrupt that it is very, very difficult for a sane mind to think through it. And it's very difficult for you, you know, if it's something that you would never do, it is difficult to think through that thing. So don't try to put logic to it, but rather address it so that you can heal from it. Okay, so you're going to do a forgiveness letter. You're going to write down the negative feelings that you are still feeling today and how it is affecting you today. Okay, and then listen, I want you to end this letter by saying that you forgive and then write the person's name. Now, for some of you, you may have more than one person to forgive, and that's fine. Write several different letters. The main thing is you have to heal in order to become a better version of yourself. Okay, you have to go through the pain in order to heal and forgive so that you can have a better life for yourself and for everyone who comes near you, because truly it's not fair for this new person to have to experience that pain when all they wanted to do was love you. Okay, so heal yourself for the sake of yourself and for the sake of society. Okay, now your journal prompts. Go ahead and grab your journal. I have 4 journal prompts for you in this video. The first journal prompt is, who do you need to forgive? And don't just write a title, my mother, my dad. Write the name. Or write the name and the title. My mom, Barbara. My name, my dad, John. Who do you need to forgive? And again, if it's more than one person, that's fine. Write them all down. Okay, the next journal prompt is there someone who needs to forgive you for something? And if so, what is that? Is there someone who needs to forgive you for something? Now, sometimes, people are offended and you don't know that they're offended, but there are some instances where you know you messed up and you know that you need that person to forgive you. You need their grace, okay? Who is that person? And what do they need to forgive you for? It's important to do that because oftentimes we hold on to things and we have a hard time forgiving other people because we sometimes forget that someone had to forgive us. Okay, and that's one of the things I tell myself when I'm in these situations. Wait a minute, somebody had to forgive me, so who am I to hold a grudge against someone else? So again, who do you need to forgive? And is there someone in your life that needs to forgive you for something that you've done to someone? Okay. The third journal prompt is make a list of what you need to forgive yourself for. Okay. We've all made decisions that if we hadn't done something, we live in coulda, woulda, shouldas. Make a list of what you need to forgive yourself for. Some of you feel the you feel the I shouldn't have done that, or the intuition. Your intuition tells you no, you do it anyway, but then you have to suffer the consequences, like me right now. Okay, so make a list of what you need to forgive yourself for. Okay. And then lastly, by forgiving, my life would improve by. So let me read those journal prompts again, okay? Who do you need to forgive? Who needs to forgive you and for what? Make a list of what you need to forgive yourself for. By forgiving, my life would improve by. Okay, so those are your journal prompts. It is quite all right for you to write the answer to the first one, pause the video, and then go ahead and do your journal prompt, answer those questions one by one, and write them in your journal. Our topic for this video is forgiveness, okay? Now, on to your self-love affirmations, okay? Listen, guys, self-affirmations or affirmations itself, that's a perfect way to change the dialogue in your mind. It is a great way to speak positive statements into your life. It is a great way to change some of your beliefs, okay? Because some of our beliefs are self-sabotage and some of them are self-critical, okay? So doing affirmations is a great way to speak positive words into our life, okay? And what I like to do is I like to say these affirmations 3 times, okay? And I want you to say it like you mean it. Sometimes you may have to fake it until you make it, But at the same time, what happens over time is it becomes subconscious, and you begin to mean it, and you begin to say it like you mean it, and you begin to believe it. That's the biggest thing, the belief, okay? So here are your self-love affirmations. I love the person that I am becoming. I choose to stop apologizing for being me. I believe in myself, and I love myself unconditionally. I am not my mistakes. I choose to be happy and in love with myself today. I choose to forgive myself and others for any wrongdoings. Okay, now, like I said, you want to say the affirmations 3 times, okay? And so you can rewind it. Actually, no, let's say them. I love the person that I am becoming. I choose to stop apologizing for being me. I believe in myself and I love myself unconditionally. I am not my mistakes. I choose to be happy and in love with myself today and every day. I choose to forgive myself and others for any wrongdoing. We're going to go ahead and say it a 3rd time, because if I ask you to rewind this tape, you may not do it, okay? So let's say this for a 3rd time, okay? I love the person that I am becoming. I choose to stop apologizing for being me. I believe in myself and I love myself unconditionally. I am not my mistakes. I choose to be happy and in love with myself today and every day. I choose for excuse me. I choose to forgive myself and others for any wrongdoing. Okay, now, like I said, you're going to say these affirmations. You can say it on a daily basis, but I want you to say it whenever you feel like you're doubting yourself, whenever you feel like you have a hard time, like you're criticizing yourself, you're having a hard time clear your thoughts and thinking positive. You want to say some affirmations so that you can speak positively into your life. Okay, now, like I said before, forgiveness is a choice, okay, and it is a process, guys. It takes time, okay? Someone can say, it's easier to say, oh, you ought to forgive them, but they don't know the pain that you've experienced, okay? Even if 2 people experience the same thing, the same act, one of them will be affected differently. They will be affected differently, okay? So forgiveness, again, is a process. It takes time, and it is a choice, okay? Now, let me just make sure that I'm very clear about this. Forgiveness is letting go of grudges, okay? And bitterness is not letting that bitterness eat you up and rob you of your future, guys. Some of you have had people in your life who really sincerely wanted to love you. Okay, but because you didn't forgive or had not forgiven the person before, you are blocking this love, okay? And some of you have burnt the bridge, okay? Now it is a new day, okay? It is not fair that you should have to suffer. It is not fair that people who come into your life and want to love you unconditionally, it is not fair that they should have to lose, okay? So you're going to forgive whoever hurt you for yourself. Not for the person who did the act against you. It is for your good, okay? The first step to achieving this is to, again, want to forgive the person. It's being ready to move forward, being ready to say, okay, I need to address this issue because I know that it's hurting me. I know that it's hurting people who come into my life, okay? So again, I know that it's a process. I know that it takes time, but you have to work on it daily. The other thing is that sometimes we don't like to see the ugly in ourselves. Sometimes we don't like to face the truth because that will mean reliving that night of pain. That will mean visiting that night of pain, okay? But again, in order to heal, you have to go through it. You have to go through the pain. You have to work through the pain. You can't go around it. You can't go under it. You have to go through it, okay? That is the only way to heal and to address the issue. Now, let me just also say that forgiving someone is not excusing the behavior, guys. It is not excusing them. It's not telling them that it is okay. Okay, it is not just. It's not making an excuse, or it's not saying that it's all right that they did that. Okay, that is not forgiveness. Okay, but forgiveness is not, again, choosing not to hold a grudge and not grow in bitterness and then block your blessings for the future. Okay. Okay, now, what are some signs that indicate that you have not forgiven, that you need to forgive? Okay, well, one sign is that you cringe when you are near the person or if you hear their name. Okay, you may feel uncomfortable about being around them. Okay, so then you may skip on some events, especially if you know that that person is going to be there. Okay, the other thing is that you have bottled up anger against people who have done nothing to you. But again, that trigger, when there's a trigger, you talk about the past events that are similar. You may say something like, well, that's exactly what my ex did to me. Well, that's exactly what my mom used to do to me. So triggers will cause you to be angry, and you'll lash out on someone who did nothing to you. Okay, or yeah, someone who did nothing to you. Okay, so here are some, again, signs that you need to forgive. The other thing is that you want others to feel your pain. Okay, and so you want them to view that person the same way that you do. Okay, so if you don't like them and you see someone else being friendly to them, that bothers you. How dare them be friends with your friend? Okay, especially when they did that to me. Okay, so then you start telling them things about this person so that you can have them, so that they will take your side and lose favor with that person or fall out with that person. Okay, another sign is that you can't stop talking about it. You can't stop thinking about it. You keep replaying the incident over and over again in your mind. It is years later and you are still thinking about it. You are still talking about it, and it hurts just like it was the first day. Okay, again, these are some signs that you need to forgive. You may also have trouble eating and sleeping. Okay, and during this time, again, you're thinking about the incident, you're thinking about what happened. Excuse me. For some of you, you have triggers. Like, it could be the rain, it could be the snow, and it takes you back to that night. It takes you back to that incident, okay? And you feel some kind of way. You feel uneasy. You feel like, that anxiety kicks in, okay? So the other thing is that you may wish the tragic worst on them, okay? I mean, speaking curses that something will happen to them, okay? You wishing them sudden death, okay? You wishing that something would happen to this person who has wronged you or offended you, okay? I read this post the other day, and it said, I'm not saying that I hate you, but I would unplug your life support to charge my phone, right? That's saying, look, I don't really, that a person that thinks like that have not forgiven, okay? So when you forgive someone, you're not thinking about harm. You don't want revenge. You are just content with your life, okay? And you don't think about causing them harm or not helping them in their time of need. Some key points that you need to remember about forgiveness are: forgiving someone does not mean that you have to that you are excusing the behavior, or that you have to be their best friend or interact with them. You can love them from a distance. Okay. Another point to remember about forgiveness is is more about you and releasing yourself from the bondage of the bondage of thinking of it or the event, the releasing yourself, from the bondage, okay, so that you can be free, free to love, free to interact, free to engage, free to be open to love, okay. Forgiveness is not forgetting what someone has done to you, okay. Okay, forgiveness is this not letting the memories again keep you bound and keep you bitter. Oh, keep you bitter and let that hate just fester. Oh my goodness. I've been there, done that, okay? Forgiveness is letting go of grudges and bitterness. Okay, I can't say that enough. Forgiveness does not mean that you return to a harmful relationship, guys. Let me repeat that. Forgiveness does not mean that you return to a toxic relationship, okay? Forgiveness can heal us, guys. It can allow us to move on with our life and to give our life meaning and greater purpose. A great example of that is a domestic violence victim who goes on to be an author and a speaker, and they begin to help other people. Not only do they change the course of their life, but they give other people help to survive. They give other people life and again hope for a better life. Okay, forgiveness is a choice. It has to be something that you want to do and you are ready to do, but there is a process. Okay, you must go through the pain, but you will get through the pain. Okay, it's a process and it takes time, but there are many, many benefits, and I've explained some of them, but there are benefits. The main benefit is that you live a free life, a life free of bitterness, free of the guilt, the shame, and you can go on to love other people, and you begin to love yourself even more. Okay, now before we go any further, let me do a disclaimer, okay? And that disclaimer is I am not a therapist, okay? I am not a counselor. I'm studying to be a certified domestic violence counselor, but I am not a counselor. I'm not trained to be a counselor. I'm not trained to be a therapist, okay? What I am is someone who has had a hard time forgiving others, okay? I am someone who has had pain, and I there were times when I did not want to forgive. There were times when it's hard for me to forgive, okay? So I am just an ordinary person who has experienced pain, and I had to learn how to forgive. And I just want to share that knowledge, okay? Now, I personally believe that there are two parts to forgiveness. The first part is forgiving yourself, and the next part is forgiving others. Now, I know that some of you are saying, forgive myself. Forgive myself for what? I didn't ask them to do that. I know that there's some of you are out there saying that, but everybody's situation is different, okay? In my situation, I had to forgive myself for seeing the red flags and not paying attention to it, not doing something about it, not shutting that relationship off in the very beginning when I first saw red flags, knowing that they were contrary to my beliefs and my values, okay? So some of you, so for me, it was a matter of making a different choice. Okay, so I believe that some of us, we have to forgive ourselves for the role that we played in this situation, even if it's being at the wrong place at the wrong time, or what have you. So forgiving yourself for allowing yourself to dwell in that bitterness, okay? So forgiving yourself, and then also having to forgive others, okay, or someone else. Because the truth of the matter is, just like you will want to be forgiven, all of us have hurt other people. Let me just make that real. That's reality. All of us have hurt someone else, and we've had to be forgiven. So now it's a matter, it's your turn. It is your turn to forgive, okay? So I just want to share some strategies that have helped me to forgive, and they can continue to help me. Again, forgiveness is a process and it is ongoing, but it is a choice. Okay, so I just want to share some ways to help you forgive others. Okay, so now how can you forgive yourself? First of all, let me just say that don't ever feel guilty for being who you are. Okay, whether that's a giver, whether you love hard, as they say, whether you love openly, whether you are a provider and you believe strongly in that, and whether you are a sincere person. Let me just say, don't ever feel guilty about who you are. It is their loss. Don't ever allow someone to make you feel like I'll never love again, or I'll never do that again, I'll never give again, I'll just be single. Listen, that is so unfair to you, and it is unfair to the person who is able to love you the way you deserve to be loved. Okay, you deserve to be happy. Okay, and no temporary situation or no temporary person passing through your life should be allowed to jeopardize your happiness with someone else. That's crazy to me. Okay, so don't feel guilty for being who you are to the wrong person. Okay. The other thing you can do is understand that you cannot change the past. Whatever happened in the past, it happened and it's done with, and there's nothing you can do to reverse it. I used to wish that I can go back in time and just erase it and wish that I'd never met that person, or just wish that the situation had never happened. It's impossible. Okay, you cannot do anything about your past, but you can do something about your future. Okay, you can do something about your future. For example, you can give up the bad boys and start dating the educated professional guys who are businessmen or what have you. Okay, so there are things you can make, choices that will make your future better. Okay, the other thing is to be honest with yourself about what happened. Okay, don't let things make you feel guilty. Okay, the things that you've done, spending money, sex acts, some of you doing some things that were that you were uncomfortable about. Be honest about what happened during your situation. Okay, another way to forgive yourself is to admit that you ignored the red flags. I'm a believer that there are always red flags. Red flags. Sometimes we don't see it until things are sometimes we don't see it until things are over. But you have to admit that there are red flags, and I'm a believer, like I said, that there are always red flags. Okay, so you need to take the time and you need to think about, and you need to really, really take that situation back to square one on day one. You need to really think about, what were the red flags that I missed. Okay, there are always red flags. Maybe they looked at you and it made you feel uncomfortable. Maybe you started to notice changes in behaviors or habits that triggered something else. Maybe you didn't share it. I'm sorry, I'm jumping the gun here. There are always red flags. So the question is, what are the red flags? What were the red flags? Now, identifying your red flags in this situation will help you to note, first of all, admit them, and then also when you move on, you'll be quick to notice them, and you'll act on them sooner than you had previously. Okay, so admit that there were red flags. What were those red flags? Were there behaviors? Were there some things that the person said or did? There are always red flags. Identify them this time around so that the next time around you'll be quick to act. Okay, identify the hurt. Excuse me, like I said before, you have to work through the pain. There's no way around it. I'm sorry. There's no way around, but I want you to identify what specifically hurts you, okay? Sometimes it's not that person that you miss. Sometimes it's a situation that you miss, okay? Sometimes it's not that you miss this person. Sometimes you miss the idea of being married. You miss the idea of having your family, okay? Identify the hurt. How did they make you feel? Why did you feel that way, okay? I think another way to forgive yourself is listen, admit that you messed up. Like I said, there are always red flags, okay? The question is, what is the lesson that you've learned? There's always a lesson. Just like there are always red flags, there are always lessons that you should have learned, okay? Whether it be that you gave husband privileges to boyfriends, whether it is you gave too much too soon, whether you ignored the red flags but continued on anyway because you want what you wanted, been there, done that. Whether you did not keep sharing until you got the help that you needed, whether or not you allowed toxic people in your space instead of loving them from a distance. Sometimes I know I used to have really strong boundaries, and if they behaved a certain way, or if they did certain things, or if they had certain habits, I would block it right then. And there's no way, buddy, you can't get past here. But at the same time, I'm getting older, so I kind of let my guards down, thinking maybe I was how do you say too picky. And yet at the same time, when stuff hit the fan, it hurt. And that's all because I let down my guard, all because I ignored the red flags that went against my values, okay? So admit that you have messed up, okay? Admit that you have allowed fear to keep you paralyzed, keep you from moving out of that situation. And some of you are you're dependent. Okay, you're dependent, and so you're afraid to leap out there and be independent. Okay, you don't want to leave because you're kids. That's the other thing, but you have to admit that you messed up, and then you have to learn the lesson. Also, let me just say, you should identify any patterns in your choices. If you're constantly dealing with guys who refuse to work, they're unemployed all the time, they have habits that they can't break and not willing to break, and yet it's costing you money. Identify patterns in your choices, okay, so that you can make better choices, okay? A lot of times it could be the same spirit but a different face. The question is why? Why is that particular kind attracted to you? Now, don't get me wrong. Anybody can approach you, okay? Because sometimes people are like, well, why do I always get the losers? Listen, anybody can approach you, okay? But you don't have to accept and open up your life to anyone that comes to you and into your life, okay? You have a choice in who you allow in your life. That's just it's not a sad reality. It's a good reality, actually, because you can control it, okay? Listen, as you are going through this process, you want to give yourself permission to put the process on hold. You want to give yourself permission to take a time out. For some of you, you have been truly, truly traumatized, and it has been going on for years and decades, okay? And for some of you, from your childhood on up through your adult, you're going through the same things that your mother went through. Like you haven't broke that cycle yet, okay? So the pain of the trauma can be too great for you to address in one or two sessions, or one or two sitting down and really diving through the thing, okay? Again, you have to go through the pain in order to heal. And yet at the same time, sometimes if the pain is too great, take a break, but come back to it, because you have to work through it, okay? Another way that you can forgive yourself is to make a choice to let go of the guilt. Again, we can't change what happened in the past. Whatever happened, happened, but you don't have to hold on to the guilt. Why did I do this? Why did I do this? What was I thinking? Let it go, okay? Let it go. Stop hitting the replay button and do something productive. Do something meaningful. Start a business. Increase your income. Buy a home. Change your lifestyle. Change your look, your wardrobe. Get a makeover. Do something so that you can stop hitting the replay button. Okay. The other thing is for you to listen. Recognize unrealistic expectations. Sometimes we see people and we fall in love with the potential. We fall in love with the potential, okay? And we hope that they'll be what we need, okay? And then when the real person shows up, we're like, what? Then some of us try to shape them. We try to mold them into who we think they should be, okay? But listen, you may have wanted him to have integrity, but his comfort zone was in breaking the law. Okay, you may have wanted him to be a good father so that you all can be a family, but the reality is that he was not mature enough. Okay, so you have to get in touch with reality. So there are two things: the truth, and there is the let me see, the truth is what you need to embrace, and you need to learn the lessons, and you need to be honest. I guess that's the same thing as the truth. It is. Be honest with yourself about the whole situation so that you can move forward, okay? The other thing is to, if you need to apologize and just make amends with the person that you have hurt. Now, again, all of these things are easier said than done. Forgiveness is a process. It takes time, okay? But you must forgive yourself along with forgiving others, okay? So let's move on to forgiving others. I'm so sorry, guys. Before we move on, I wanted to share something with you that I found. It is called Forgive Yourself for How You Chose to Survive, okay? Forgive yourself for the desires you judge harshly. Forgive yourself for indulging in things that took up your time but didn't fulfill you. Forgive yourself for declaring yourself as someone you are not. Forgive yourself for choosing avenues of negative expression. Forgive yourself for all the times you didn't add value to others. Forgive yourself for what you discovered about yourself and you did not like. Forgive yourself for whatever ugliness you saw in yourself. Forgive yourself for not correcting what you think you should have. Forgive yourself for all the parts you couldn't respect. Forgive yourself for all the judgments. Forgive yourself for not being able to forgive yourself before. Now, moving right along to how to forgive others. The first thing to remember, again, is that it takes time. Okay, we've already gone over what forgiveness is not. It is not excusing the behavior. It is not excusing the behavior. It is not saying that you're okay with the behavior. Okay. The first thing I do is I remember that someone had to forgive me for something. Again, we've all been in a place where not only do we have to forgive others, but others have to forgive us. And so I tend to remember the fact that someone had to forgive me. And so that helps me to extend the grace and to forgive others. That's the first thing. Okay, so now how do you forgive others? Okay, remember what I've said before. Remember that someone had to forgive you for something. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to do. You want to remember that just like you needed someone to forgive you, it is your turn to extend forgiveness to other people. Okay, so you want to forgive just as someone has forgiven you. Also acknowledge how you feel. Okay, put a word to how you're feeling. Okay, angry, sad, disappointed. Put words to those feelings, but acknowledge those feelings. Okay, change the channel of your thoughts or your mind. Okay, don't keep going over it. Don't allow yourself to keep thinking about the incident or the situation. Okay, let it go. Change the channel. Do something else to occupy your mind. Do something else to keep busy doing something else. Okay, communicate with the offender. If someone has offended you, it's okay for you to go to them and say, listen, I don't like how that made me feel. I don't like when you did such and such. Okay, let them know how you feel, because sometimes it's just a matter of it being a miscommunication, okay, or hearsay. Okay, so you want to communicate with the offender. Okay, also pray and meditate. Okay, it's okay to ask for guidance from a higher power. Okay, they know all, they know why the person did what they did, they know the person's history, they know your history. So it's okay to pray and to meditate and seek guidance. Okay, also listen, give yourself time to heal. It gets easier with time. Someone else will replace the person, or you may decide, you know what, I'm better off single. Okay, either way, give yourself time to heal. Okay, understand that you cannot control what people do to you, but you can control your response, and you can control whether or not that person stays in your life or should be dismissed. Okay, so take back your power and make that decision. Okay, the other thing is to be grateful that things didn't get worse. That's a big, big, big one for me. Be grateful that things did not get worse. You made it out safely. You are alive. So it is time for you to evaluate what happened, and you just need to think about how you can move forward and prevent yourself from being in that situation again. But gratitude works. Okay. Also, listen, be determined to love again. I don't like it when people say, oh, I'll never love again. That's so unfair to you if that's what you want, okay? So forgive, so that you can be open to receiving love again, okay? Also, listen, be conscious of displaced anger, okay? When somebody does something to you, actually, let me back up for a second. Know your triggers. Know your triggers so that if something happens, you're not displacing anger on the wrong person, okay? So know the triggers and recognize when you are displacing your anger onto someone else, okay? Listen, find meaning in your suffering. We've said this before. In other words, take that experience and make it into something meaningful. Meaning, I gave the example of how some people who were domestically abused now start to speak and share their story and write books and become authors. And so take what you've experienced and be a blessing to others, okay? Speak your truth so you can heal yourself and others, okay? Surround yourself with good people. Sometimes we need to remember that not everyone is the same, okay? So surround yourself with good people who love and support you, okay? And you also may want to use them as accountability partners. Sometimes I think in my situation, had I spoke to someone, they would have been like, listen, you need to pump the brakes, you need to stop, you need to get out of there, you need to not do that anymore, you need to put your money somewhere else. So I just think that you need to surround yourself with people who can hold you accountable, okay? Forgive yourself. And understand, listen, no one is purely bad. Everyone carries their own pain, okay, which influences them to make the decisions that they make. No, that's not your fault. No, it doesn't justify what happened, but have a little empathy and forgive yourself, and forgive them as well, okay? Focus on your future and not your past, okay? Create new good memories, okay, so that they'll wipe away the bad ones, okay? Also, listen, know that forgiveness simply means choosing to let go of the anger and the hurt and the desire for vengeance, okay? Understand that forgiveness helps you to heal. When you can't forgive, you hold on to resentment and emotional wounds, and it can't close, it lingers, okay? So you want to forgive so that you can heal, okay? Also, listen, know that forgiveness can improve your other relationships, okay? So that you're not displacing the anger, so that you are coming face to face with why something happened, so that it doesn't repeat itself, okay? Also, grudges and angry feelings can eventually overflow. So you want to heal yourself so that you're not short tempered with these new persons, so that you don't have trust issues. Ooh, that was a good one. So that you don't have trust issues in your new relationship, or bringing the baggage from the old relationship into the new relationship and making this new person suffer for what everybody else has done to you. Okay, what every other partner has done to you. Okay, that's not fair to that person, and it's not fair to you. You deserve to be loved. Okay, so you want to forgive so that you can heal. Okay, remember that forgiveness has health benefits. Okay, when you forgive, you are healthy. You have less anxiety. You can sleep better. Your self-esteem improves. Okay, so forgiveness has health benefits. There are some that believe that when you don't forgive, you get all kinds of diseases, okay, like cancer and tumors and things of that nature. So you want to forgive so that you will feel better, okay? Listen, I want to encourage you to make a list of everything that has happened to you, and things that you need to forgive the person for, okay? And I want you to start with these words: I forgive you for. And then make a list of everything that you need to forgive the person for. Actually, write the person's name at the top, and then you can write, I forgive you for. Now, when I did this, it was important for me to do this so that it keeps me from going back to that person. They say statistics show that people who are abused, and I'm not saying that you guys are abused, but statistics show that people who are in domestic abuse relationships go back to the person 7 times, okay? When you make this I forgive you list, it will show you all the hell that you've been through. And sometimes you can read that, and it will help you to resolve to not return back to the vomit, okay? So make a list, and you can do this for every person that you need to forgive. I forgive you for, and then make your list of what you need to forgive them for. Be very detailed, be very specific. If you paid something from October to December, like let's say $384, from October to December every week, so then you calculate that. Okay, so you see the big dollar item so that you will never do that again. Okay, so I forgive you for, and then make a list of what you had to forgive the person for. Okay. Okay, so in closing, listen, ignoring, denying, or suppressing your feelings will not help you forgive or to heal. Okay, you must make the decision to forgive and then do the work. Forgiveness is a choice. Okay, it is a process and it takes time, but it benefits you and not necessarily the offender. Okay, so listen, I hope that this video has been helpful to you. If so, don't forget to like this video. And listen, love begins with you, okay? And life doesn't have to be perfect to be filled with happiness, okay? Again, don't forget to like and subscribe this video. Don't forget to join the Kings and Divas coaching group on Facebook. I am Brenda Douglas, your self-love and happiness coach, reminding you to always strive for excellence without apology or permission. Thank you so much for watching.